Is it true that you guys went from 0 to 2 million in revenue in 2 years?
Not quite, because it's less than 2 years.
Okay, less than 2 years.
But yeah, we're coming up on the 2-year mark here very quickly.
Hey guys, Damien Stevens, host of MSP Mindset, and I am really excited to be live at PAX 8 Beyond 2025. And I'm here with Julian Gelfand, and you are one of the founders
Of Always Beyond. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, tell me, there's kind of a backstory here. We're at an event called Beyond, and you're a company called Always Beyond.
It's why we have to come. We're contractually obligated at this point.
Right.
So we were kicking around names, and we did happen to be at the Beyond conference.
Okay.
A lot of it, though, is actually Always Beyond. We felt that it told a story without actually saying anything.
Okay.
Right? It's a competitive advantage because we're saying that we are always beyond, and are our competitors beyond or always beyond, or what are they doing?
They're always behind or something.
Right, maybe, probably, I don't know. But it felt like you get a sense of who we are just from the name, and we really liked that.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a really nice pin in it of like, oh yeah, because that's what we believe in. We believe in being a boutique service, being top-end customer service, knowing our customers, building relationships, and going above and beyond. So if we just say always beyond, you already get a sense of who we are.
So without spoiling how fast, you grew really quickly. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I wanted to get into, you must have had experience. If you're walking around the Beyond event, talking about the name for your new MSP, what was the precursor?
Yeah, so that is interesting, and it certainly contributed to the growth that you mentioned. It is the second time around. So been in the MSP space for a while with an MSP that had gotten acquired by a larger company and then acquired again by an even larger company.
And what was your role there?
I was a lot of different hats, but I mean the direct title would have been service delivery manager, you know, for a region, right? Because by the time it got bought by a big company, there were regions and all these things.
Okay.
So basically running the day-to-day operations of customer service and not sales, but all the other departments, you know, projects and service and customer satisfaction and things like that. So doing that, sticking around, watching the company get swallowed up and swallowed up again, and seeing how that degraded the service and things like that, really led to the thought that we should do this again. Take the experience, leverage the relationships that we had, and take our knowledge and use that to do a better version.
When you said do this again, was that your company?
No.
Okay, so you were in the industry, but as an employee.
Yeah.
And then you said, now I'm going to be crazy enough to jump off the deep end.
Exactly.
And start.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and it was a leap.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big leap, even when you have like a background of like, okay, I'm doing this for the second time around. I know how the industry works. I have ideas. I have relationships, but you still have to take that leap of being an entrepreneur and starting from the bottom. And, you know, well, today it's 0, right? It's day 1. We're at 0.
That's right.
So how do I get past 0? How do I get, you know, to achieve my goals?
Right. So speaking of 0, is it true that you guys went from 0 to 2 million in revenue in 2 years?
Not quite, because it's less than 2 years.
Okay. Less than 2 years.
But yeah, we're coming up on the 2-year mark here very quickly. And yeah, we went from 0 to 2 million. And
How
a lot of
does
that, like I said,
somebody do
is
that?
a lot of that, like I said, is the second time around.
Most of us a lot of us don't get to 2 million MSPs ever. And then, man, it took me a lot longer than it should have. Definitely, it took me longer than 2 years. So tell me how the heck you pulled that off.
Well, there's a lot in there. And yeah, a lot of companies plateau, especially around that million mark, as I'm sure you know, right? Like that's a hard plateau to break through.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that we did. One is we leveraged relationships that we had already. I'm from Calgary. I was born and raised there. I've been in the industry, so I had a lot of people that I knew, and so I leveraged that. We also leveraged people, bringing in people that aligned with my values, aligned with the mission statement, and starting that from day one. Bringing in leadership so that we can delegate. You know, the people that are going to be leaders of this company, when it's a $5 million company, a $10 million company, we hired those from the beginning. The other thing I did, which I think is really important, is because it is the second time around and I knew that it was going to grow, I didn't build it for a $1 million company or a $2 million company. I built it for a $5 to $10 million company. So we launched with Halo PSA day one.
That's what I was going to say. What does that mean?
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, is building the infrastructure to be scalable. Start from day one with all the best tools, with everything you need. Invest in a Halo implementer so that we can get the coaching on it, understand how to use it, learn how to build it for ourselves, and leverage the power of those types of tools.
That must have been a real investment day one.
It was.
No dollars rolling in.
It was. Yeah. It was, because we set up, Hoodoo day one and our Halo day one, and set up our vendor relationships and started building it. But it was very purposeful too, though. It was right. We're going to get to that goal, and having those systems in place and making those decisions and picking the right people has enabled that growth from 0 to 2 million in less than 2 years. And there's no way that could have happened without having systems in place, without investing in that PSA. Maybe you could do it, but you're going to then spend that money later, right? And you're going to hit walls where you're not efficient and you need more people than you need to have work and those kinds of things, which pitfalls that easily avoided if you know what you're looking at. And having that experience helps a lot.
Yeah. So I think it would take more than buying the right PSA for me to get $2 million. What about on the differentiation, sales, marketing? Like how somebody had to go and develop those relationships and cultivate them and close those deals.
Yeah, and so a lot of that has to do with a few different things. One is leveraging ourselves as different, right? And we think that that's important. So one of the things that we do is we only have one package. Everybody gets it. And if that's not the right package for you, then you're not the right customer. And the big difference that we separate ourselves from a lot of the MSPs is cybersecurity is a given. Our entire tool stack is built to give you the best cybersecurity. Email protection is there, EMDR is there, like everything is included. And then we're going to talk strategy. How do we modernize your company? How do we get rid of that server? How do we get, if you have a server because you have saved 100, well, why can't we move into the cloud?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to just lift and shift your Sage server into an Azure server. What's the better platform for you? How do we move that forward? And that sort of strategic partnership really carries us forward, because we aren't just selling you break fix and some security and then adding another tool and another tool. We're saying, here's everything you need. Cybersecurity is done. We've dealt with that. Now let's figure out how we optimize your business. How do we make technology helpful to you instead of a hindrance? And that's the big separation there. So we are a boutique system. We're not a cookie cutter MSP. We're not like the other guys. I know that sounds very cliched. I'm so random. I'm not like other girls. But it's very much about, we are offering you something different, and we want to be a partner in your business. We want to help you grow and optimize and find efficiencies. And, it takes us into AI and stuff like that, right? If we want to help you, a lot of companies aren't even ready to look at that because they've got old systems that can't be plugged in. They don't have APIs. They can't be plugged into Copilot or ChatGPT or have an agent or anything. So you got to modernize that to take the next step. And that's where you're finding room for automation, room for efficiencies and things like that. And that's where we come in.
So did you differentiate in everything's included, full stack, including full cyber? Or do you differentiate more in having an actual business conversation?
So both of those things. And a lot of it is we leverage ourselves as being a strategic partner. Cybersecurity is built right in, and everything is included. There's no support overages, whether it's on-site, remote, whatever. So it's all you can eat. It doesn't matter. And then we are also built on relationships, right? We know what our customers do. We know who our customers are. We have that personal touch. We like to throw events and bring our customers in so that they can meet each other and we can meet them in person. And they can invite people so they can bring people that they can refer to us. My IT company's really great. They're throwing this event. Why don't you come down? You can meet them quickly. And it's not salesy. It's very much connection-based. Build that relationship piece. And that's a big part of our differentiator is, you're going to call us. We're going to know who you are. We're going to know about your business. You're going to have a good experience with when you do call us. You're going to get someone who can talk to you and knows who you are and understands what you're trying to do. And that's a big one.
So did you differentiate day one?
Yes.
And so if I understand it, it is, I don't know if you present it this way, but it is part of the full stack, including cyber, it seems, and part that you're willing to have the business discussion. And I say that because a lot of faster growing MSPs have a niche.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like you're saying I only serve healthcare or a specific niche, but it still feels to me like you found a niche and a way to differentiate by combining those things, even if they're not your typical vertical niche.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I hadn't looked at it that way before, but I think you're right. We do have a specialty without having a specialty.
Yeah.
And our specialty is being a partnership, right?
Yeah.
Companies that recognize that they need more from IT than just, because you can buy a laptop wherever, and the conversation has changed, right? Laptops last a long time now. They all have SSDs. They all have lots of RAM. They work great. It's not like the old days where you have to let's make sure we get the exact right model. Like the base model is good because everything's on the web.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a big part of it. And we aim at the SMB, the small to medium business, that 10 to 400 user company is sort of the closest thing we have to a specialty. But it really is just companies that recognize that they want a partnership, and that's what we want to look for.
And is your focus in that one market? In Calgary?
No, we have customers in the U.S. We have customers in other parts of Canada. Obviously, a lot of our customers are where we are geographically, but we're still early days.
Yeah.
We're less than 2 years old, so we're expanding those offerings. We intend to go everywhere, and so far we have. But yeah, we don't have because geography doesn't matter. COVID taught us that we can work from wherever.
That's right.
Right, so we can do whatever.
So how do you go to market if you're not necessarily hitting one geo? How do you landing clients all over?
Yeah. So it's leveraging that relationship. We leverage the networks that we've built with the industries that we work with, the customers that we work with. They refer us to people that they think are a good fit, and that's not based on geography. And also leveraging the people we know, PAX 8, talking to the people at PAX 8, coming to the conference, meeting people here. Well, we can specialize in something that, we have a lot of MPO experience, and this guy's got a MPO client that he's talking to, but they're not the right fit. Well, we know a lot about that, so let's help you there, and we've got referrals for you, and just a lot of that cross-pollination and abundance mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not worried about there not being enough business, so I can give you business, and you can give me business. It doesn't matter, because maybe it's not a right fit, but there's enough of it for us.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of that abundance mindset, you were telling me you have really strong beliefs in culture. That's true. What does that mean to you? You're passionate about culture.
I think that's an interesting thing, because I think culture is a lot of different things to a lot of different companies. And I think at a lot of companies, culture is just a word that you say.
That's right.
It doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. We don't live that culture. But we say we've got great culture because we have a ping pong table, and we buy pizza lunch once a month. But to me, that's not really culture. Culture means that everybody gets along. They're not afraid to talk to the person above them or the people around them. Everybody's willing to ask for help, and you have a good time, right? If you can live by your company's values and the people around you fit and believe in those values, you get culture built from that. And you get culture built from having real relationships with the people you work with and being connected, because you're spending all this time together. So we should get to know each other, and we should go out after work every now and then, and we should be talking, and there should be room in our company teams for just chit chat.
Yeah.
Unregulated, just chit chat, share memes, and just talk. It doesn't have to be regulated. And I think another part of that I believe in strongly is, there's this discussion of work-life balance. And I really think the definition of that is kind of skewed, and I think the way people look at it is wrong. So people tend to think of work-life balance as I get to take off my lunch hour to go and do my doctor's appointment, and I have work-life balance because when it's 5 o'clock and work is over, I'm done and I play PlayStation. I don't look at my phone. I think it's more important to look at it as work and life all come together in one thing, right? I wake up on Monday And it's not because I'm just going to work. I wake up on Monday and I have my day, and some of it's going to be work and some of it's going to be not work. And those things can all blend together. As long as I have a work culture where I can say, hey, I need to leave for 2 hours because I got to pick up my kid or whatever, and the team's going to support me in that, that's more important, right? Like, I'm going to make up those 2 hours later after 5, but that's not a big deal because I don't mind. Like, I enjoy my work.
Yeah.
So I can move things around in a way that makes sense and not just have a cutoff time, and that's how I get work-life balance. You know, it's all about, like, Monday is a day where I have to do things, and 5 of them are work and 5 of them are personal, and I'm going to fit them in together in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. So I've also often found it's in the actions, not just the words, right? That help define culture. So what are some of the differences in how you've been intentional about allowing people to take that time, or working where they need to, or just what do you do, and what is that for you?
Yeah, sure. So I part of it is just having results-based workplace, right? Get the work done. I'm not worried about when you did it. I just want to see that you got it done. The other part of it is, and it might sound old-fashioned, but we make people come in. I make people come into the office 1 day a week. You have to come in. Everybody comes in. We buy lunch. We have meetings. We hang out. We chat. We learn about each other. And then pick some other times that you come in as well. But we are very purposeful in going for team building events every quarter. And we call them get shit done days. And that's like, we'll come in on a Saturday, we'll buy lunch and dinner, we'll hang out. We make a purposeful list so you're not wasting time. You know that you're going to accomplish these things, and you're going to spend the day getting that stuff accomplished. And then we can all pull in the same direction. And that builds that culture as well. And I think those things, and just coming in, some days I might bring donuts, I might bring coffee, you don't know. We might go for a random lunch because we're all here, and it's like, oh, well, 5 of us are here, let's go for lunch. And you just don't know when these things are going to happen, and it's pretty random. And I think that all builds into that culture piece of like, oh, it's fun to be here. We live these values. I know we can be flexible because we just took a long lunch together, and you know, that shows in that. You're no stranger to the industry. Why is this important to you, Julian? So I think a big part of it is, and I think I said one of my catchphrases, which is I think technology should be helpful and not a hindrance. And I see so many people struggling with technology in their business, in their regular life, and I think we can show people how to make that better and how you can make your life easier by leveraging Copilot to read your emails and summarize your team's messages, and making sure that your systems are in the cloud so you can work from wherever. And I really think that there's so much potential for small businesses to grow more if they know more about how to use technology. And I'm really passionate about making sure that people have a good experience and can get by and have that work-life balance of flexibility, because they don't have to be tied to their desk because their technology is going to work when they're not there.
Yeah. This may sound crazy, but like, you do that, is that because this is what you wanted and it wasn't always there? Like, I'm kind of curious, like, what's the core driver? Because you could say, I'm not doing that. I don't care about the flexibility. There's lots of ways you could say this is the way everybody else does it.
So my background is mostly in sales and customer service. So I worked a lot of jobs where I had to go into an office for no reason. The work that I did could have been done from anywhere, but I had to go to that building and sit in that chair. And I thought, why? I'm talking to people all over the world selling my widgets. What difference does it make where I am and when I'm doing it? Right. And that kind of led me into like, well, how could I not work that way? And that led me into technology in the MSP space, and like, I wanted people to have better work-life experiences than I had, of not having to sit in that office all day just because that's what the company did for no real reason. It was just that's what companies did. And so that's why I'm so passionate about that, is because I spent so many years not having it that I wanted to be able to bring it to more people.
I love that. That makes tons of sense. So you mentioned earlier you didn't set up your systems for $1 million or $2 million, but you've gotten to $2 million in under 2 years. So it sounds like you're very intentional.
Yes, I think it's important to have a plan.
So what is your What is your goal? What is your plan?
So our mission statement, the company mission statement, is to help 25,000 end users in 10 years. And that does equal something around a $25 million company. So the idea is 40% growth year over year.
Wow.
And that's a big goal, but we're on track for it. And the numbers show that we've done it.
Yeah.
And I think we can keep doing it. And so, yeah, it was a very purposeful growth, and that was because I think we can, and I think we can make the industry better by doing it. And so I thought, yeah, let's just have real concrete goals. Let's work towards them. And then if you have something that you're looking for, if you know your numbers, if you know where you're going, if you have forecasting, you can do that. You know, you can say, all right, well, I've got these things in the pipeline. I've got these projects. I need to hire someone. I need to be ahead of the curve. And that allows you to grow more, because people aren't getting burnt out because you've got enough people working for you, because you know what your numbers are, you know where your timeline is.
Yeah. Did you have I'm curious, when you got started, did you have a big deal in the pipeline or a couple of customers? Because it seems rare to have the conviction and confidence or craziness to just set up shop, get all the vendors, do all the things, maybe start hiring, like whatever you did, and say we're going. Because, you know, sometimes things take longer than you think.
That's true. I wouldn't say that I had anything set in stone, but I did have crazy belief, which is, I know, wild. But it seemed like if I didn't have the crazy belief, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have that faith in just growing.
Yeah.
The other part of it was, as I mentioned, it was an MSP that was swallowed up twice by bigger companies. So I knew there were customers out there that were underserviced. And I was pretty confident that I could get some of those to come over. And I knew that would create a domino effect where they would refer me to other companies and that sort of thing. So it was definitely leveraging knowledge that I had, that there are customers that are underserviced out there, and I bet they know customers that are underserviced, and they've heard of me, and that can all play into getting the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't have anything signed, but I was pretty confident that I could. And so, yeah, I it was crazy belief in myself, I guess, and just in making it happen.
Yeah. Is there some element of business or faith that drove you to do that?
I think it was, I don't know, no one's ever asked me that before. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure. But I think a lot of it was, and it might be a bit of a cliche, but it was just, I have a son who's 8 years old, and I thought, I want him to have a better life long term, and I want to leave something that's going to outlive me. And I think that was a lot of it that I didn't really think about and hadn't articulated, but I think that was the main driver right there. It was like, it's time to have something that will carry into the future, be bigger than myself, outlive me. And, you know, I think that was a big part of it.
Now, this sounds really cool right now when you're on the other side of getting started.
Right.
But what the heck did your wife and family think when you're like, I'm going to go spend a whole ton of money based on this conviction?
Some of it was crazy.
Yeah.
But fortunately, my wife is very good at believing in me.
That's a gift.
Whether she believed it all the way or not is up for debate, and you might have to get her on an episode. But no, there was a lot of belief of like, you know what? If you think you can do this, you've been in the space for a long time. You went through the acquisition. I think you know what you're doing. Let's take the leap, and we'll, as a family, we're going to be all in.
Yeah.
And just go for it and lean into it, and she picked up the kid more often, and did all the extra things to make sure I had the time whenever I needed it. And it was literally just, we're just going to all go all in together and just make it happen.
What a blessing.
Yeah, it was a real blessing that she has that belief and that she's strong and because I think she pushed me more than probably I did myself, because she was just like, just make it happen.
Yeah.
You got to make it happen. Now you better make it work.
Yeah.
And she's in charge, and she's scary. So
definitely like some good motivation there.
Yes.
So about how many people are on the team now?
We are 10 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that can be a plateau for others. About 2 million, 10-ish employees. So whether it's hitting the plateau at 1 million or at 2 million, I know sometimes 2 million can be either a plateau or even burnout, because you're starting to lose that span of control.
Very true.
What advice do you have for other MSPs that are listening that are stuck below to whether it's 500K or $1 million, or maybe they're where you are and they're trying to. I know I've talked to many. They're like, I feel like I'm stuck and I'm kind of burned out. I'm just short of that.
I think one of the pieces of advice that is new for now that wouldn't have existed before is lean into automation. Look at what tasks are repetitive in your organization. What is the worst part of somebody's job? If you ask Sally, what's the thing you hate doing the most? It's probably something repetitive. Maybe it can be automated.
Yeah.
So let's lean into that. Let's get a developer. One of my 10 is a developer that's working on automations for user creates, user decoms, things like that.
That's crazy that one of the, most MSPs never hire a developer, it seems like.
That is true. And in the past, we wouldn't have either.
First 10.
2 years ago, probably wouldn't have either.
Yeah.
But with the rise of automation capabilities, it was a good investment at this point. Because, imagine you never have to do another user create.
So now I'm even more curious. Is this like a traditional software developer writing code? Is this a PSA RMM guru who's automating it using the existing?
It's more of the second one.
Or an AI?
So he's built an API. Okay. Basically, he's built an API for us, plugs into all our tools, and will carry that automation forward. So has a bit of a developer background, but more about plugging all the tools together. And that's how modern automation works in the MSP space. You got to plug everything together to make something happen.
Yep.
So that's a big one. Leverage that. The other one is, and I think a lot of MSP owners, and because IT guys, we're a special breed, is delegate.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, that's my diplomatic way of saying it's a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
But it's find those people you can delegate to, and what can you delegate?
Yeah.
Find the leader that you can delegate to, and shift from being reactive to being purposeful, right? Take control of your calendar. You know, block that time off, and that's the time that it is. I've made it. I need to do 2 hours of strategic thinking. I've put it in my calendar and I can't move it, that kind of stuff. You have to move to be purposeful. You have to delegate. You have to free up your time. That's how you get over the next threshold.
I love that. Julian, for any of the MSPs that are listening and watching, if you're open, how can they connect with you, find more out about you, any of those things?
I'd love to connect. I'm in a bunch of peer groups, and my LinkedIn is open, Julian Gelfand on LinkedIn. You can find me on the website of alwaysbeyond.com. And my LinkedIn profile even has an option to book a meeting with me. So you can go right on there. Let's book a call. Let's talk. I'm happy to share advice, my knowledge, stories, and let's figure out how we can make every MSP better and lift the industry up as a whole.
That's a true abundance mindset. I love that.
Thank you.
Make sure to take Julian up on this gift.
Please.
Julian, thank you so much for your time and your gifts today and for being on MSP Mindset.
Thank you. This was great. I really enjoyed this. This was wonderful.